Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Julie, and on today's video we are going to be doing some Christmas DIYs for my home as well as some Christmas decorating. I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. If you do not know, Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that lets you easily create an online website or e-commerce store. So if you have been waiting for me to start an online store, it is coming soon, but we'll get to those details later in the video. Let's get started with some Christmas projects. I was so excited to find these plastic ornaments at the Dollar Tree. They are the bigger size that I was looking for and the absolute perfect size for this project. I want to create some ornaments for my own tree, but I don't want them to be overly Christmassy, so I decided the IOD Birdsong mold would be perfect for this project. I just dusted the mold with some cornstarch, and that helps to keep it from sticking. And then I took my IOD air dry clay and pushed it into the mold and then removed the excess. And then it easily comes right out of the mold. I found that red solo cups were the perfect size for these ornaments. And now I'm going to take some Gorilla Glue and just glue my molds to my ornament. I am going to do this before it dries, that way, before the clay dries, that way my clay will form to the same curvature as my ornament. I made 15 of these just using all the different birds from the molds, and if I decided to put 2 birds on an ornament, I just used tape to keep it in place while the glue dried, and I let these dry overnight. Next, I'm going to be mixing baking soda and antique white paint. The recipe for this will be half baking soda and half paint. The more baking soda you use, the more textured your paint will be. It is never easy to paint around its surface, so I decided to just paint the top of the ornaments, let it dry, and then I would turn over and paint the bottom. At first, I started painting it inside the cup, and it was just hard to hold on to. So finally, I just ended up removing it, and that was a lot easier. So I am painting the entire piece, even the little metal topper on here. It's all going to get a coat of this textured paint. So I painted the top, and then I put it in the cup to let it dry, and then I just went on to the next one because I have 15 of these to paint. And then once it was dry, I painted the bottom and let that dry. I ended up doing 2 coats on everything, and it really did not take as long as I thought it was going to take. It's definitely a little bit of a labor of love, but I think in the end you will agree it was definitely worth it. Since I did the half and half ratio, this paint is very textured. So I am just lightly going over my molds just to make them the same color as my ornament, but I don't want to go so heavy on my molds that I fill in all the details. So I just put one very light coat of paint over the birds. And I did think about putting the antiquing wax to bring out, some more of the details. But in the end, I just decided I just wanted this very simple textured look. And I feel like that was the right decision for my tree. I absolutely love how these turned out, and I really wanted them to be seen, so I made sure to hang them a little bit towards the outside of my tree. Look at these little lovebirds, how cute, and the texture on these ornaments are amazing. It almost looks like pieces of pottery hanging on my tree. These ornaments are totally my style, but I feel like they could go with so many different styles of home decor. I am obsessed. Let me know what y'all think about them. I wasn't going to put any more ornaments on my tree, but I thrifted these 3 boxes of gold ornaments for $1, and I had an idea. So we're going to try it out. Y'all, these were $1.88 from Walmart originally, and these were $4.99 from Kmart. Do y'all remember Kmart? I used to love shopping at that store. So I've been adding a lot of antique gold to my decor. So that when I saw these gold ornaments for only $1, I thought I could probably antique them. And that way my tree would go a little bit more with the decor in my home. So to antique these, all I'm going to do is apply the Waverly antiquing wax. If you have watched my videos, you know this stuff is like magic, and I use it on everything because it just makes everything look amazing. I just applied the antiquing wax on the top of these. That way I could hold the bottom. And I did a few of them. That way it would give the antiquing wax just a little bit of time to dry before I just dabbed it off. So I'm going to do all the top of my ornaments, let the top dry, and then I'm going to go back and do the same thing on the bottom half of the ornaments. And I'm only going to apply one layer of antiquing wax. And it's just going to give these kind of bright gold ornaments a more muted, aged antique look. I did this on gold ornaments, but I am really interested to see how they would do on colored ornaments. So if you already had some bright colored ornaments that you wanted to give an aged look, I would definitely try the antiquing wax on them. I think it would look absolutely amazing. And y'all, look at the difference between the ornaments on the left with no antiquing wax and the ornaments on the right. Doesn't this look absolutely amazing? They have this beautiful vintage old looking patina now. I wanted these ornaments to just be a pretty accent on my tree, so these I decided to hang a little bit more towards the inside of the tree. These came out exactly like I wanted them to, and they match perfectly with the antique gold decor that I already have in my home. Do y'all remember those globe lights that I turned into ornaments on my last video? I ended up finding 10 more of them. So I had enough to put them on my entire tree, which was so exciting, but I really wanted them to light up every day. So I was able to get these tea lights from Amazon. They are on a timer, so they light up for 6 hours a day and then they go off for 12 hours. So every day at 4 o'clock, they come on and they stay lit up until 10 o'clock at night. I only ended up putting these 3 ornaments on my tree that I DIY'd, and I absolutely love my tree this year. It's so simple but so beautiful. Alright guys, I want to take a minute to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. So if you have been looking to take your business to the next level like I am, Squarespace might be exactly what you are looking for. When I was looking for an all-in-one platform to host my e-commerce store, I was looking for 2 things. I needed it to be very simple, and I needed to be able to access everything from my phone. And Squarespace definitely checked all those boxes. It was easy to set up an account, and then you can pick your own e-commerce template, and then you can download the app, and then you can start editing everything from the app. And if you already sell products in person, Squarespace automatically syncs all your in-person products with your online sales. They have a very easy checkout system and a secure payment system. So if you are interested in starting a website or online store, you can go to squarespace.com and you get a free trial. And when you are ready to launch your website, you can go to squarespace.com/Julie and get 10% off your first website or domain. Now, what will I be selling on my website? Will I be selling the products that I make? Will I be selling craft supplies? Will I be selling my thrift lines? Oh, how about clothing? That would be fun. Honestly, I do not know. Even though Squarespace made it super simple, literally took minutes to start my website, with everything that is new and different, it is still stressful and overwhelming. So I decided to approach it like I approach everything else. I'm just going to get started and I will figure it out as I go. And with everything, the more you do it, the simpler it gets, the easier it gets. And I feel like this is going to be no different. So today we started a website, and next time we will actually put something up for sale. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this and what would you like to see me sell on my website. I really want to know y'all opinions. We are going to do this together. Now, let's get back to some Christmas projects. You can never have too many little decorative trees around your house. I'm going to do a quick, easy DIY to add some more trees into my winter decor. I am just using a piece of a cardboard box, but I need it to be white and I don't want to have to paint it. So I'm just using some spray adhesive to glue on a piece of white paper to the front and the back of the cardboard. Using my ruler, I'm going to measure out some triangles. I want to do 3 different size trees. I like groupings of 3, and I also like them to be different sizes. And then I'm going to cut them out with my X-Acto knife. Do y'all remember that sweater that I used to make 3 different projects on my first Christmas video? Well, I still have some of it left. So I am going to be using that to make these cute little winter trees. I sprayed my cardboard tree with the spray adhesive, and then I put it on top of the sweater. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, if you have a nice, thick, chunky sweater, you might not need your cardboard to be white. But since mine is white and a little see-through, it looked better with the white paper attached. I'm going to trim off all the excess, just making sure my lines are nice and straight. And if your 2 pieces of fabric are not together, you could always hot glue it or spray a little bit more adhesive. I do want my edges to be like a little distressed and fuzzy, so I am just taking a block of sandpaper and rubbing the edges of my tree. I took some little spindle cutoffs and I cut a groove in them using my table saw to glue my fabric tree into. However, these little trees are so light, I think you could definitely glue them onto something without cutting a groove in it. So I'm just using hot glue to attach my sweater tree to the spindle, and to cover that raw edge, I'm just hot gluing a little piece of extra sweater material, and this gives it a nice clean look. These were so simple and easy to make, and you can definitely embellish them more if you wanted, but I decided to keep mine white and simple so I can keep them out after the Christmas season. I got these flour sack stockings from the Avery's Nest. She said she was inspired by my video last year where I had my cousin make me some primitive style stockings. I absolutely loved them, but I sold them all. So I am excited this year to have my very own for my family. I want to customize these for each person in my family, so we are going to be using the IOD typesetting stamp and the IOD ink in the color tomato. I'm putting cardstock in my stocking, that way the ink doesn't bleed through. This is very hard to do on camera. I ended up having to like hold the stocking up and shimmy it in. But anyway, you get the point. Put something in your stocking so that your paint or your ink does not bleed through. I want to start with the longest name first because I want all of the names to start at the same place on the stocking and then just end wherever they end. So I'm starting with Brandon, and I have all the letters lined up on my thin mount. If you have stamps, I highly suggest getting one of these thin mount grids. It just makes it so easy to line up all your letters. And I only have one end, so when I am missing a letter, I'll always find a place setter for it. That way I can visually see where it goes and leave a space for it. Just make sure you don't ink up your place setters. I just very lightly inked my stamp because I didn't want the red to be too bright. I did want this to be a more rustic farmhouse looking stocking. It came out exactly like I wanted it to look, and as soon as I am finished with the stamps, I do go and clean them immediately with a baby wipe. I find that's the best way to quickly get the ink off. And now I'm taking the end and putting it on a smaller thin mount that I should probably clean. It's pretty dirty. Now, if you just wiped your stamps with baby wipes, make sure the stamp is dry before you put your ink on it, and then you can just put it wherever you were missing that letter. I decided to leave my stockings the white flour sack material that it came in, but you could definitely tea dye these to give them an off-white look and have a more primitive antique look to them. And if you love these stockings, I'll put a link to them in the description below. So I have 6 stockings and I'm going to stamp them with each of our names. Now, I have a question for the parents. On your stockings, do you put mom and dad or do you put your names? I ended up putting our names, but I'm just wondering what everybody else does. Also, if you do not have the IOD typesetting stamp, I highly recommend it. This is probably one of the stamps that I use the most. It has the uppercase letters, the lowercase letters, and also all the numbers with it. And I just love the traditional look of it, and when you stamp it, it kind of gives it that older farmhouse look as well. I'm going to hang these up on my fireplace using 3M hooks because I don't want to add any more decor to my fireplace, and these work perfectly. And the little tie on the stocking pretty much covers up the hook. All right, measured and marked to make sure my stockings were evenly distributed across the mantle. And now I'm going to hang them up, and I also want to add a little bit of greenery to the tops. So I'm taking one little sprig that I had on hand and another little sprig that I cut from a tree that is right next to my fireplace. That way everything ties together. I'm just putting greenery on these stockings, but in the past I've put in tags, I've put in little ornaments, even pictures. It is so fun just to customize and accessorize each person's stockings. Oh my gosh, y'all, I love the way they came out. And I think they added that touch of farmhouse that this area really needed. It was starting to become a little bit overly French country, and in this house I'm trying to go for a French country and also that farmhouse style that I love. So these stockings really added that touch of farmhouse that this space really needed. I'm sure this is not a new idea, but it's new to me. If you don't know, we just moved and I've never had these Christmas looking holiday trees in my yard before. I love that for free, I can just walk in my backyard and cut off some limbs off these trees. They are beautiful and they smell amazing. So I've just been adding them to some decor I already have in my home just to add that little touch and smell of Christmas. So if you have trees like this as well, I highly suggest cut off a few limbs, take out that greenery that's been in your jar all year round and add this. It actually stays green for a very long time. I think these will be good until Christmas. Do y'all remember when I did my breakfast nook renovation and I wanted to hang cafe curtains? Well, I pretty much haven't touched the space since that video, but I found this beautiful Christmas tablecloth at the thrift store. So I thought I would turn this into cafe curtains for this area just to make it feel a little bit more cozy, and I don't have to worry about putting up new curtains until after Christmas. The top panel is going to be 11 inches, what ended up being the exact same size as the plank on my dining room table, so I am just using that to help me cut it. I did want it to be long enough to cover the blinds that are on those windows because I still wanted to keep the blinds up, but I wanted them to be hidden when we were not using them. And for the bottom, I cut 4 panels that were 30 inches long. Luckily, with the pattern on this tablecloth, it really didn't matter which direction the pattern was going, it all looked the same. To hang these curtains, I'm going to be using these clips I ordered off of Amazon. I order 100 at a time because I use them for all of my curtains. I will not be hemming these or even concerning myself with the raw edge. They are just going to go up exactly like they are. And to do the clips, I like to create a little pleat where I place the clip. I start with the outsides first, and then I find the center of my curtain, and then I take the center and my end clip and I find the center of those two, and that is how I continue to add my clips until I feel like there is enough. Now for the rod on the wall, all I did was go get those very cheap curtain rods from Walmart and I spray painted them black. And the little piece of hardware that goes on your wall, I like to paint that the same color as the wall. That way it just blends in and you only see the black rod. Making these curtains are so simple, and if you look at the cost of cafe curtains in the store, they are very expensive. So I definitely prefer just to make them myself, and using a tablecloth or a curtain panel is absolutely perfect. These were so simple and easy to make and definitely added that coziness that this space desperately needed. And it also bought me a little bit of extra time to figure out what I want to put in this space year around. Do y'all remember this amazing toolbox that I thrifted for $5? If you are new to my channel, you might want to go back and check out some of my older videos so you can see when and where I thrifted some of the items that I showed on today's video. Well, I thought the toolbox would be perfect for my Christmas decor, and I filled it with greenery and pine cones, but it was looking a little bit too farmhouse, so I wanted to bring some of that French country from the mantle onto my centerpiece. I am very distracted by the cat in the background. I did not notice till I was editing this video that she was playing with the curtains in the background. So I added some of the smaller bulbs that I had antiqued, and I got these white candlesticks from Hobby Lobby, and I just added them into the toolbox. And with that little touch, my dining room is fully decorated for Christmas. Alright guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope y'all are inspired and are really in the Christmas spirit now. Please leave a comment below and let me know what was your favorite project that I worked on. And if you are interested in starting your own website, do not forget to go to squarespace.com and you can get a free trial. And if you're ready to launch your website, you can go to squarespace.com/Julie and you get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all in the next video.